and Star Trek movie female characters who only appeared once. Star Trek films have established a curious trend of introducing new female characters who are never seen again after their initial appearance. After the successful transition of Star Trek, the original series, to the big screen, it only made sense to add more women to the final frontier. Creator Gene Roddenberry's original vision for Star Trek involved more women than TOS actually included, but progressive attitudes in the 1970s and 1980s led to creating new female characters in prominent roles for Star Trek movies. Star Trek: The Next Generation's films continued adding new female characters to the franchise, as did J.J. Abrams' Kelvin timeline movies. In keeping with Star Trek's commitment to creating whole characters regardless of gender, each of these women is a unique and well-defined character, though the significance of their roles in each Star Trek film may vary. In most cases, there's a good reason that they are limited to a single outing in the Star Trek universe. The Star Trek movies' plots may not allow for their returns, with some women's stories coming to a fitting end within the runtime of a single film. In other cases, however, it would be interesting to see where the future could have taken these new female Star Trek characters. Lieutenant Elia, Persis Khambatta. Lieutenant Elia was the Deltan navigator of the USS Enterprise in Star Trek, the motion picture. As a Deltan, Elia was required to swear an oath of celibacy before entering Starfleet, due to Deltan sexuality posing a psychological risk to other Starfleet officers, as was nearly the case with Elia's former lover, Captain Will Decker. Stephen Collins. Elia's esper abilities made her an excellent navigator, but also led to Elia's ultimate fate of being absorbed by the Voyager probe after it had attained sentience. Elia was officially logged as missing in action rather than killed, but that still prevented Elia from returning for any Star Trek sequels. Dr. Carol Marcus. Bibi Besh. Dr. Carol Marcus was a lead scientist on Project Genesis in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and developed Project Genesis and the Genesis device that created life from lifelessness, turning matter into Class M planets suitable for life. Sharply intelligent, independent, and assertive, Carol was also a former lover of Admiral James T. Kirk, William Shatner, and mother of Kirk's son David Merritt Bittrick. There were plans to include Carol Marcus in Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, but writer Harve Bennett ultimately opted to cut Carol's scenes from the film due to budget and story constraints.